We're down at the Minnesota Capitol again. Hoping that the audio here picks up good. A little bit windy today. Today is the 4th Saturday of November, which is an interesting day in that that's called Holodomor, which is the anniversary or the day they honor the Ukrainian genocides. I'm not aware of anybody doing anything for that today, but there's at least two churches doing stuff, two of the Ukrainian churches doing stuff tomorrow. I don't know who this is. We're in a video already? Oh, I beat me to it.
Beat you to it.
Always got a Caribou coffee going.
I was watching Bob and Pat. Actually, Pat's on the house. It's our reverend.
So you were out with Bob and Pat?
Mm-hmm.
So who else has been going out with you guys?
Well,
I haven't done that.
Pat's out of town, but so he had the reverend.
You said what?
He had the reverend. Pastor. Right.
The pastor's going with you?
Yeah, because Pat's out of town.
You're in the car with other people too?
10,000 of us backseaters.
No, but you're not actually in the car?
With 10,000 of us backseaters.
You're just watching. You're not physically in the car.
Figured you knew that.
Yeah. Well, because I see the videos from some of the other groups, like there's a couple of people that run videos that claim to be doing stuff with Fletcher. So, are they just refeeding his video?
Refeeding it.
So like
they share it out.
They share it out. Looks like it's their video.
I know, right? It's kind of cool.
So they must copy it and paste it in and share it out.
They just share it. I share it too. It was a calm night last night. Last Friday was crazy. You
haven't done an actual ride along with the cops before? I have. It's fun. They were harassing me a lot when I was doing it. I think they were more or less just putting on a show. I swear it was like I was on the TV show Cops, because there was a lot of drama. They kept going to these locations that were, interesting, which I wasn't running any video or anything, of course, because, but we were going to stuff pretty much constantly, and it was fun. I've done that a couple of times.
Tired. Oh my god, I should be doing this. Staying until 2 a.m., catch all the bad guys.
Yeah. They're trying to recruit Kendall Qualls to run for governor.
Okay.
I got a flyer in the mail yesterday or the day before. Recruit Kendall Qualls for governor, and he's speaking at Owatonna today. But I've seen him speak a whole bunch of times.
That too.
And he hasn't agreed to it yet, so it might just be a publicity thing.
Where's everyone?
Don't know. This is a good day for video.
Think? You think?
Yeah, nice and sunny. A little bit too sunny, I think. I think I should go look at the Capitol itself. It's too close. I can't. I don't have a fisheye.
Oh, what?
I don't have a way to zoom out.
They can look at that.
Pretty close to the Capitol right now.
Why did they do that?
Do what?
He drove at the Capitol last night.
Who did?
Bob?
Fletcher?
Yeah.
I can't see. Is Bruce here? I don't see him. I saw people that were dressed up in full black over there. Blacks.
Well, what?
All dressed in black with their hoodies on.
Oh, that's not good.
Black.
I didn't think you were on the climbing the stairs. Huh? Are you gonna climb the stairs? Okay, Susana.
It's on a Saturday. That's a long ways down there, and I have to be home by like 9:30.
I'm not gonna. We shouldn't go.
You know, it's
All they do is they're like D-Ron whenever he does one of his things. It's just the same old story. Really,
you know,
it's the same thing every time. They just get up there and talk for 45 minutes about the same stuff we talked about it. And the thing is they never do. I suppose.
no. Started to work on it Saturday. I would go down there. I wouldn't mind. At 9 o'clock.
I got Neil Shaw going down there.
Okay, cool.
But I get all kinds of crap whenever I run video for Duesenberg or Mortensen.
And on a Sunday, yeah, I could go. To be back by 9.
The Holodormer thing is it's a big story. That's a big thing. Ukrainian Holocaust. I don't know if we should talk to Bruce about how he basically lost his debate last week. You know why he lost, right? Because he never listens to the other guy. Never asks him. You beat him right off the bat. You had the guy on his heels the whole time.
What did I do?
You were friendly. You asked him what his name was. You were asking him questions. You were being curious, just like you normally are. Whereas Bruce was lecturing to him. Bruce was giving a speech. He never once asked the guy what the guy thought about anything. Never once asked him any curiosity questions. Like, well, what's your name? Well, why are you here?
What the hell else was I saying? I don't remember I was asking no.
You were being friendly and asking him questions right off the bat.
I don't even know what I was asking.
He was acting bizarre. The guy showed up with no coat on, or very light.
These are kind of weird. That's why I
He had
put
shorts.
my camera on them.
He had shorts.
Right?
He was standing there with a notepad writing notes.
I know. I thought.
And he just was. And then he was wanting to know. He was asking us about Bruce's sign. He was asking you guys about Bruce's sign.
I just thought it was odd. I'm like.
It was odd already.
That's why I threw my camera on him. And I started talking to him. It's like, wait.
Yeah, my camera caught him almost as fast as you did, and my camera was just sitting there watching it. I didn't notice it for.
Oh, I thought he was talking to me.
Yeah,
Why did he write my name down?
Yeah.
I thought maybe is he a creepy reporter from a local news or something?
Yeah.
Like, he just look creepy.
Yeah.
Thinking, why you write my name down? I didn't give him a last name. I mean, my first name, fine, whatever. They don't need my last name.
You don't even know how to spell it.
Huh?
You don't even know how to spell it.
I just like thinking, why are you writing my name down?
Yeah, he was behaving strangely, and then I started asking him a couple of questions like, well, what's your position on that? And he said, I'll tell you. He never did.
No, he never did.
Because Bruce never gave him. Once he started talking to Bruce, he never responded to
He
any.
just came at the wrong time because we were going to that KSTP thing.
We told him right off the bat that we have to go. I think they literally were watching our feet and they knew we were talking about how we were going to leave. And I think that they told this guy to hurry up and go see him.
Really? Why?
Because we were leaving. So I think this whole thing was deliberate.
You think?
Yeah, I think that they sent that guy out to talk to Bruce.
Why though? I mean, did he want
Because
us
he
to
won. He easily beat Bruce.
So I mean, so we didn't go to the. So we did. He didn't want us go to the KSTP.
I don't think they cared about the KSTP. I think they wanted to try to embarrass Bruce. So they might try to show up and harass. They might try to show up and harass one person in particular, like Bruce.
It's Bruce.
Is it?
Yeah, he signs.
So should we walk over there or should we stay over here?
He stay here.
He doesn't like it. He wants to be in charge.
You can see. He said. Oh, I emailed him the picture of him praying at the KSTP. I emailed it to him. I think he got it. I suck at email. I suck at email. Think he got it. And then was he asked for the live feed up?
I
What
sent
happened?
it to him.
I think I did too. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to send it to him as a YouTube. Send it to him as Facebook. You can't watch it.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. Then maybe he didn't get it.
It's not that hard to convert it over to YouTube.
Well, I swear I saved it from my Facebook, and then when I go to on my desktop in my files, I can't find it. It's like, come on, I labeled it.
It goes to download folder probably.
Let's check that one. I check all of them. I swear I can't find it.
Folder is called downloads. He always wants to meet over there. You know, the thing is, you can't be inflexible like that. You know, you can't be. I'm going to meet over there. Well, what happens if you show up and there's somebody there already? You know, you have to be. This is better. Bring the camera over here. Antifa showing up. You get me in trouble on Facebook. That's how they communicate.
I know, right? That's why we call them one finger.
That's why we call them one finger. I started calling them one finger back in 2017 because that's how we communicated.
Hey, Big M, we're just doing our usual Capitol thing still every Saturday at noon. Yes, we still do this.
I should have worn some sunglasses. It's sunny. I can barely see you from the sun.
We're just chilling out at the Capitol. We haven't given up our Capitol or mansion.
It's a nice day.
Oh, you didn't see the
If we had
photo of me.
If we had any politicians out here, that would be a good day for a video.
Yeah, that's what. Hey, Big M, my big announcement.
Politicians coming here.
Big M is, I took my daughter to the governor's mansion on Halloween.
I think this might be a Capitol Patrol over here.
I don't know if you've seen
Every once in a while, there's a Capitol Patrol over here. They come by and patrol. They never come over and harass us much.
Governor's mansion on Halloween to trick or treat. And
But sometimes
was out passing out candy. You know.
Oh yeah, she won't talk to us anymore.
Taking photos, of him and the kids, passing out candy. So I don't know where the.
Hello, Capitol Group.
But my point of going there was,
See you all.
when I threw that picture on Facebook, people knew why. They got onto it. He was not wearing a mask or social distancing.
Actually,
That
the thing was
my-
Cammie was endorsing Waltz for governor. That's what she was
Yeah,
doing.
I'm sorry, guys. I've been, lying this whole time. Don't listen to him. No.
People got all butt
little
hurt when
piece
I
of
was
his
taking photos with
exposure
Bernie
on
Sanders
Halloween,
and
he's not wearing a
Biden and
mask.
stuff.
Like he says, like he tells everyone else to wear a mask. He was not wearing a mask and he was not social distancing. So
Yeah,
check it out on my Facebook
I'm not
page.
interested in
Yeah,
going down to
it's
the
a-
devil's
so
camp, but
I
it is
little
necessary to
silver
know
lining
what the devil's plans
on
are.
Halloween. How to
So we can pray
expose
against
him.
him.
He was not wearing a mask. Is that what he's supposed to still be wearing a mask still? I don't know. But he was
And
not
so we're not-
wearing one.
We know what
Not
we're
social.
facing.
And I seen dogs.
So we
I guess
can be
selfies
prepared.
with Scout, the governor's
Preparedness.
dog. Oh,
So
we
we
had
got-
a
Scouts
moment.
be
Me
prepared.
and Scout had a moment.
We got the president coming to visit on Tuesday.
Oh,
I don't know if I got a. I'm looking at myself or not. Probably looking at.
Oh,
I see.
tired.
What part of the city is coming to the
Well, they're saying on Fox 9 was saying he's going to go to Rosemount.
state? Oh,
Hey,
Rosemount.
that was my
Yep, on Tuesday.
exposure on
Yeah, it's not
Halloween.
far from the airport. I could see
Not
that.
wearing a mask or social
So what he'll probably do is they
And
they normally
actually,
go to the
I never met
Minneapolis airport
ever.
and land at the
I guess I met
MSP
Wells
or
on
at the
Halloween.
military base right next door. I mean, and then they'll go down
It
to
was more-
Rosemount.
it-
They'll probably
he
make
hired
at
a
least one other
photographer to
stop
take
besides
pictures of him
Rosemount.
and trick-or-treaters on Halloween and stuff.
It's
He had a
amazing
table
what
out by the
President
gate,
Trump
so he's outside on the
has
sidewalk with the
sacrificed
table
for
with
this
the
nation.
snacks, baked,
And what he
everything,
continues
but it was
to
a photo op,
sacrifice.
really. You
Has
could just
anyone
take him
given
with
a
him.
specific amount of
He's not
money that he's
wearing a mask, the
spent
social distancing.
since he's been
So,
president?
you know,
Like his wealth has
exposure
gone
on,
from
like, Halloween.
what he spent $500 million
feeling pretty
on
good.
lawsuits and whatever,
No.
and he donates his salary to charitable causes. First president I ever heard that did that, and first politician that I recall that left office with less money than when they came in. Unlike most politicians, they get rich when they come in. Like, look at Bernie Sanders. How rich he got since coming in.
He's a big socialist too, and it's ironic how much money Bernie Sanders made
Oh man,
off the backs of the
they're
government.
raking it in.
Yeah, they're raking in the big bucks by amazing investments. They're
Amazing
just
investments.
they're just
Yeah, and
really.
I'm not saying I would be any different if I was elected to office. Maybe my investors would be doing amazing investments also on my behalf.
Yep, and I know Obama got to buy a house at like huge discount off of the regular price. You know, there's all these remarkably good deals that he just gets because he's, and he just says, well, that's because I'm smart, right?
Obama?
And Hunter Biden,
Obama?
Hunter Biden, yeah,
he
Obama,
makes,
yeah.
Hunter Biden makes
How is he
hundreds of
smart?
thousands on these paintings, and is he even considered an artist? Is he even on that level, or is this just a way to skirt the?
Well,
political laws?
the thing is, they might not tell him that they're giving him $500,000 for his painting because they want to buy influence. But you give somebody $500,000 for a painting that's worth nothing, they're going to be pretty happy about that, and they're probably going to be agreeable to working with you,
Beholden to each other.
especially if you might buy another one.
Yeah, my dad used to call it. He worked for a union. He's an electrician. He used to call it, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
It's the old saying goes. I'll
But
help you out if you help
all
me
human
out.
beings tend to be, we're not footing any particular people, but we're saying that there are corrupt politicians and there are good politicians. Corrupt politicians can be bought and don't put America first.
About 2 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks from now, a year ago, December It was 2 days in a row, the 16th and the 17th, I believe. I think it was the 16th and the 17th of December. I forget. I don't think it was January. Might have been. Might have been January. I don't remember. Anyway, we sat out here, me and Becky did, for 2 days in a row for about 4 hours. And basically shut down all the attacks on the Capitol. You know, we just sat here and then we pointed out the fact that these people that were showing up to cause trouble weren't with us. Some people showed up that were with us, but the vast majority of them weren't.
Really?
The vast majority of them that were showing up weren't. And
Are
it was
the ones that were
they wanted
trespass?
they wanted to dress up like people on our side and cause problems, attack the Capitol essentially, just like happened at Washington D.C.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. What? She thinks that's funny.
I had to get some gas on.
Oh, she's okay.
It was hurting my belly. I had to do it.
Yeah, we're on video and she's.
Okay, we won't major in that right now. But
we're out here.
Because
They were.
smelled this. I'm assuming you can.
No, it's outside. It's okay.
Thanks for being honest. We forgive you.
But we're out here,
Natural.
and there was a guy who showed up with a shotgun, I think. There was a lot of sketchy stuff, and they also were out here doing interviews with the news media, saying they were with us, when we never even saw them. They weren't even with us. There was one interview with the news media that was claiming to be this guy that was supposed to be with us. He wasn't with
And
us.
so how does that reflect on what happened to the nation's capital? You believe that's a true reflection of what happened there also?
Yeah, these crisis actors, conflict, these people that show up and they're trying to pretend to be with the other team, you know, showing up to pretend like they're with us.
Yeah.
And they're just there to cause trouble. And
Yeah, from what I watched right after the
One Finger,
January
for
6th.
example, showed up at the governor's mansion and was standing out there trying to pretend like he was a Proud Boy or like he was somebody like that, you know. And the thing is he wasn't with any group that was there, you know.
Yeah, and I watched
and these anarchist groups are no good.
And on that news, they showed several busloads of Antifa people being dropped off at the U.S. Capitol. And they showed the U.S. Capitol Police moving bicycle racks so people could come in to the Capitol. And the first people who came into the Capitol was on film that a photographer was there waiting for them. So it's like they were waiting for this.
Yep.
And then some police welcomed them in. And then areas of the Capitol weren't even guarded. And yet they knew about this, you know, rally / protest that could be happening there. Nancy Pelosi was in charge of security, and people who normally worked, they told them don't come to work.
On purpose.
So they had a real sparse turn off Diana. And so that's some of the evidences I have
They're purposely
that
let in.
much of this was staged.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Well, we don't. You know, I don't have any personal knowledge of them staging that kind of stuff in Washington D.C., but I know that they try to stage that kind of stuff right here. They're always, and people like some of my friends. I don't want to use their names because they're hard Democrats, but they show up and they shut down some of these community groups because they know that these community groups are trying to cause trouble in these various cities, and having these real community people show up at their events and telling them to get out of here is helpful. And they tried to burn down a few of these places here just this year even, and fortunately real residents, real people who actually really live there know enough to show up and deal with it, because they would. They just show up and they try to agitate. We got people now from the Antifa groups who are showing up in school boards. They're showing up at school boards, and what they're doing is apparently they're going through these yearbooks and they're going through social media as students in these schools, and they're finding out kids that trigger them. You know, they got Confederate flags and stuff or whatever, and they're targeting these kids in the schools, and they're showing up, trying to get them expelled from schools.
I see.
They were doing that just this last week.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
that's part of the
now
warfare.
this idea of doxing children and showing up in schools deliberately. There was one kid who did a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
They
But,
still got a bit of a hack, but it's,
Yeah.
So how do they get in the schools, or is anyone allowed to walk into any school?
classes.
Well, initially they
Oh,
were
yeah,
just
I got
targeting
the
Prior
glasses.
Lake, but now they're going after a lot more than just Prior Lake. They're going after any school that they think that they can identify a white supremacist. You know?
Oh,
So they're triggering on anybody. They basically have like a thug squad that's showing up in the schools trying to get people. That's happened in Lakeville.
Try to make them say
Yeah.
racist statements and stuff.
No, they're showing up in these schools saying that they found these things on people's children's social media, and that they're coming there, you know, because this is their new thing, is to target kids in schools. And we're not talking about targeting the school board. We're talking about targeting the kids.
Man, you know, I think
They-
if I had
they-
kids,
they
I
say-
wouldn't allow them to be on social
They-
media at all.
Well, that one girl who said all the
Teenagers.
racist,
Yeah,
she said all that racist stuff.
Yeah.
It was all that racist stuff, right? It was really bad. It was super racist, you know. And she got thrown out of the Prior Lake school.
Yeah.
But that's what got them really whipped up.
Yeah.
They actually went after. They actually targeted the school. It looked like they were going to smash on windows and the whole deal, you know. Fortunately, they were intentionally whipping up the students, and then the students just bought into it and they were just going to riot. And then they were smart enough to de-escalate and I think mostly stop it.
Yeah.
But they were the ones whipping them up to a frenzy, to the point of doing that
how
stuff.
did they get access to talk to the kids?
They just show up.
Yeah, I mean,
They're getting the kids. They're
you could be
getting the
out on the
kids.
public sidewalk, any place.
They're getting the kids to target the kids.
Yeah.
Right? That one girl who said that stuff in Prior Lake, I'm sure she got absolutely just destroyed by everybody.
Yeah.
You know, because she said that stuff on. I don't know. I'm not sure where she said that or how she said that stuff, or any of that stuff. All I know is that the Antifa groups went after her with a absolute passion. You know, and then they're going after other schools too. Apparently they're doing it.
But the schools don't teach. This was just one person that was racist. The schools aren't teaching racism in that way.
No, and
No,
They are
they
teaching
wanted
racism.
to make an example of that girl.
Not in that way.
but they're not done. They're going after other kids. They're trying to find other kids, or their little minions are reporting them to them.
And so isn't that though kind of terrorism when you go to a school and harass kids?
Well, basically, they're showing up like an angry mob with pitchforks and burning torches, and they're making all the, just like heck. They're showing up at judges' houses. There's video.
yeah.
They're showing up in apartment buildings. You know, searching for the judges. They're trying to get photographs.
Yeah, they were right in front of her apartment door.
They're trying to get the photographs of all the jury members, you know, so that they can threaten the juries, you know.
And this Soros pays for them? Funds them?
They definitely
I think a lot of money comes from that.
I don't know that I don't know
Like
I don't know that it's
that's
necessarily
I mean,
Soros
that's why
alone.
we,
It's
if you
people
stop
like
buying
Soros.
certain name brands like
Because I
Coke and
heard
stuff
that
like that,
Soros,
products, we shut them
that
down
guy
with
who
money.
ran
That's what
over
I'm
the 6
understanding. That's
people
why,
in Milwaukee,
I try
killed
not
6 people.
Yeah.
I try and watch it by try by the
Or
off
was that
brands.
Kenosha or was that Milwaukee?
I mean, off brands. I mean, unless I'm wrong, but
It was
I don't buy Coke or Pepsi anymore. I buy the old-fashioned root beer, you know, and that's really what I buy.
it wasn't
now,
in
you know.
Kenosha.
Yeah.
It was in
local,
So
I
it might
try
have
and
been
buy
Milwaukee or
Waukesha?
nearby.
Waukesha. Yeah, it was
Waukesha.
Daryl something or another.
And so that guy, he had a long criminal record. He was violent. against his.
He had
He
a
ran
he,
over his girlfriend, the mother of
recently.
his child.
He ran over the same truck, and they let him out. He had a felony arrest warrant for another state, and they let him out.
Arizona, it was active, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they
You know,
investigated
criminals
that,
are,
and they
like,
found
running wild right
the
now
one who
when
paid his bail
us
was the
patriots
Soros.
are,
Soros
being
group.
locked in jail.
Paid
I don't
his
know.
bail
I don't
and
know.
get him out.
I don't know.
Because he's a
Okay,
left
you can go,
winger
it's like-
apparently.
People,
That was
people,
research.
They
people
wouldn't
got
even
up.
let people donate to Rittenhauer's defense fund. That one
I heard about
guy that just donated like $20 lost his job. Just because
What?
somebody found out.
I heard about
And
that,
he didn't
yeah.
even say anything
No, it was
pro or
anonymous.
anti. He just
He kept his name quiet, but they found out he.
but somebody went and found out.
Well, that's completely illegal.
And so
No, that's what they're
know
doing.
that.
They're doing that
They
kind of
outed-
stuff
they outed
now.
him 'cause he
So
gave
if
20 bucks to the
you
defense
give
fund.
$20 to the Rittenhouse defense, they're
He
gonna
loses his
figure
job.
out that
He
you did
lost his
that,
job,
and
yeah.
then they're gonna try to get you fired from your work.
He
So
lost
who's
his
that,
job over
Antifa?
it.
Yeah.
I couldn't
These
believe that. I'm like, are
trolls.
you serious?
I
They're-
mean,
they're-
what happened to innocent until proven guilty? Everybody
Yeah.
deserves a defense.
What do you mean? He's already been proven innocent.
Yeah.
No, this was
Recently.
before the trial. This was, a
So what
year-
happens if somebody
year-
gives
it took
money
a
to
year
this
before
guy
he brought the
Daryl?
trial.
This guy Daryl.
Yeah.
If somebody gives $20 to this guy Daryl, our
When is it done to you, right?
they're not
Our
gonna
side
go.
doesn't do
They're not
anything.
gonna go try to get somebody fired.
Have
I
you?
think it's
Because-
coming up pretty soon.
When the righteous
Is
do
it
nothing, the
summer?
wicked win.
Is it
I don't know.
Dante White Wrights?
Dante
Oh, yeah.
Wright's
Or is that
pretrial start.
January?
How would
The pretrial stuff starts in next month, or just like a week or
how
two.
would the Maxine or
Hope they do
Maxwell?
it during the coldest part of the year. The coldest week of the year.
I
Kim
know,
Potter
huh?
trial's coming up.
Yeah.
Well, Diana,
You can't have a whole bunch of people talking all at the same
I
time.
did speak at the school board meeting on Tuesday,
Oh, yeah?
and they are near across the street from the Roseville High School. It's called the District 623 office or whatever.
Yeah, I'll have to get that
That's
at.
where they meet now. It's just a tiny little room.
How often do they meet?
Every 2 weeks on
Oh, every
Tuesday,
2 weeks.
the second Tuesday and the fourth Tuesday of the month at 6:30.
Oh, okay.
And the public speaking time is just after 6:30.
Yeah.
So it usually doesn't go past 7 for public speaking. There was
Yeah.
only 3 of us that spoke.
Yeah. If I was gonna go, I just record the public speaking.
And so, yeah, you'd only have to be there from 6:30 to 7. But 3 people spoke. I spoke on LGBT.
Did that lady
Yeah.
speak again that was talking about how the black students are so far behind everybody else and
Kofi?
they're not learning anything?
Coffee?
I don't know if it was her that spoke that time.
Coffee, yeah. She didn't speak because she's.
Diana's talking about somebody different. She said.
I don't know who that was.
It wasn't
Lady
Coffee.
was. I don't know who that. But
It
she
could have been.
spoke at Roseville. We were late getting there, but she was the first speaker.
It could have been Kathleen Bart or Kathleen.
Yeah, but she made a pretty good case.
He's a
You know,
blankie now.
she had a lot of statistics and stuff.
You know, there's a really
Yeah, we
good
got
place to
good
take a
speakers.
nap here.
But let me finish this on the school board. And so then another person spoke. Alan spoke. He's going to be running for school board. He's on our side. And then the third lady spoke. She always speaks. Her 7-year-old kid. She supports being a so-called transgender.
Oh yeah,
And so
supports
she always speaks.
using the girls'
And they always
bathroom.
let her speak last, so she can counter everything that I say.
Oh,
And so I've got to investigate that and challenge them.
when I was there that time, you spoke first and then she spoke.
That's what she's saying. They always let her speak last.
Oh no, she spoke first and then he spoke.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they did that time?
Yeah, that time she spoke first because you were late. You were the
That's
last
true.
one to
You weren't
speak.
supposed to speak.
I wasn't supposed
You were
to
late,
speak. Yeah.
late, so
That's,
you.
that doesn't count.
She was the speaker just before him. Yeah.
So it's like they want her to go last so they can counter everything I say, and their arguments are the same. Oh, that's just an isolated case. That happens with all things, but how about women rape victims? How many of them report it? And if they're 5 years old, how many of them are
Yeah.
going to report it?
So how about
After the rapist threatens them and says, if you tell anyone, I'm going to do this and this and this
Yeah,
to
we
you.
got
How
it.
many 5-year-olds are going to report that?
So let's talk about let's
girls.
let Diana talk about the Holodormer.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
So is there an actual event?
no, that's a history reminder. Of,
Where's it every on the fourth Saturday
Ukrainian
of
Ukrainian
this
genocide.
month,
Yeah.
which is today. I would go to that.
Tomorrow they're going to have a
Well,
ceremony.
they don't have, huh? Who's
Tomorrow.
gonna have?
There's two churches two of the Ukrainian churches
Oh,
have.
good.
So I sent you the thing about one of them.
Oh,
It's
okay,
close
I
to
didn't
here.
see it yet.
Where we going?
10 o'clock tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What?
The bigger the Catholic one. There's also an Orthodox one that's doing one.
Yeah, it was. Because
Doing what?
Ukraine was Christian country, and they were known as the breadbasket of Europe, and they were under the control of Russia, and the Russia wanted them to supply, food to all of Russia, and they had a bad year where they didn't send as much food as they thought they should have sent them, so they punished them. They came in and they forcibly took every scrap of grain, every piece of livestock, every bit of food that they had. They took it, anything of value. They even took like the religious relics and stuff, and they took them and they left the people to starve, and they would not let the people leave Ukraine. They had to stay there and starve. It was really severe, and they it was deliberate starvation of the people, a whole country.
Was this?
This was,
3 of them. There's 3 different ones.
yeah,
It's happened multiple
times. It happened.
multiple times.
Why did they do that? Why are they?
because because that's communism. They take everything, and if they they feel you're holding back, they're going to punish you.
Yeah, because
That's where we're headed.
people
Why are they-
don't voluntarily do communism.
Yeah.
Well, the only time you'll do
1921 to 1923, 1932, 33, and 1946-47. If you ever see the movie Bitter Harvest,
Oh, watch it.
that's a really good storyline. It's got a little romance and everything in
I
there.
guess
But it's a very good storyline of what happened to the people, and they just literally starved to death because they had nothing to eat. They didn't have any grain to plant the following year because they took everything. They took everything, every scrap of grain, every livestock.
I guess my question is, why does the government get the kicks on starving the people? Why do they get off? Why
Because they were punishing them because they did not provide them what they expected them to provide. They were holding back. That's just
Left-wing
that's totalitarian. You know, that's like having our people out in Washington D.C. telling us what we're supposed to do because they think that they're smarter than us, that they know what we have and what we're supposed to give them, and we're supposed to give them everything so they can decide where it all goes and who gets to benefit from it. You know, instead of letting people take care of themselves and their own families and their own communities, they want to do it all from the top, and they don't know. Or they don't care.
Well, they actually believe that they're smarter than we are.
They do think they're smarter than we are. That's why they call us
they're
flyover
experts.
country. We're just a bunch of hicks out here standing in the middle of some cornfield.
We'd all die if it wasn't for the government.
Yeah, that's right.
They believe their colleges,
It's
their
just
college
sad.
degree gives them the privilege to.
Well, did you listen to that
power
stupid
over
energy lady talk? You know?
Is that AOC?
Yeah.
Green?
No, the energy lady,
a redhead?
what's her name? The head of Department of Energy. Did you listen to her talk? How stupid she is? Oh, well, this is just transit. Oh, we don't control the oil. That's controlled by OPEC, you know, and we have nothing. That has nothing to do with us. That's a global thing. There's just, you know, we just have to transition to cleaner energy. You know, it's good. It's all okay.
Oh, brother.
I mean, did you listen to her talk?
No, I didn't hear that.
I've been hearing the morons talk like that for years.
Yeah.
They basically don't have any brains at all. Because you know,
All you have to do is just put up some solar panels, and where do we get all the stuff for the solar panels from? Oh, Oh, from China. Oh, they have to mind that cobalt with the child slave labor. And who's selling them the cobalt mines? Oh, Hunter Biden. Don't you know? And he's making millions of dollars off of selling rights to cobalt mines
Cobalt.
to China. Cobalt mines to China. You know?
Yeah.
In 2016, when he sold that. Yeah. And he's been selling it. That Biden family has been selling us out for years.
Yeah.
You know, well, and same with the Clintons. They did the same thing with the uranium.
Amazing the stranglehold they got over this nation and how they're hidden.
Oh, they're not so hidden anymore.
People know, yeah, because Hunter Biden is selling paintings that are worthless for $500,000 because that's how they get their kickbacks. They get their money by selling. Basically, they get some donkey with some paint on him, splashing on a canvas, and sell it for $500,000. You know, that's the same kind of idea as making the $1 trillion platinum coin to solve our debt problem.
Yeah.
You
You want to hear about that Holodomor? What they said in this article? Ukrainians honor victims of all 3 waves of Holodomor on the 4th Saturday of November. What was Holodomor about? In short, it's when the Bolsheviks, Marxists, communists ruin your country's economy in general, and agriculture and farming in particular, disrupt supply chains, create food shortages with their delusional policies, then come to your home, label you a kluak, or class enemy, or enemy of the state, or anything really that would brainwash and gaslight the envious, shallow-minded mob into hating and blaming you for your privilege of being a hard worker and not denouncing your faith and culture. Does that sound familiar?
That's what they're doing right now.
And take away everything you have, your harvest to the last grain of wheat, your cattle, your equipment, all in the name of equity and justice. That sound familiar?
Yeah.
If you dare to protest or fight back to defend your property or family, your faith in God, you will be killed. If you don't fight back, you and your whole family will be left to die from starvation, or resettled into a place where you can't survive anyway, or sent to a labor camp where again your chances of survival are close to winning the lotto. Learn about what Marxist communists did to Ukraine. Learn about the destruction of Ukraine villages, persecution of hardworking farmers, Orthodox Christians of old believers, and Christians in general. Talk to your children about it. This knowledge is too important to ignore today, yet I can guarantee you that in 99% of American schools and colleges, this topic is kept secret today. The history of the Holodomor is the real, uncomfortable truth your homegrown neo-Marxists don't want you to know about, because if you do, you might be able to connect the dots and realize what is being done to America now. Share this knowledge. So you said one of the Catholic churches here in town is having a thing.
It's the one on University Avenue. It's like it's a big one.
So
It's Ukrainian church. There's only 2 big ones in the city, and one of them's an Orthodox church.
Is it Minneapolis or St. Paul?
I think it's 5 something university. I don't know. You can look it up on maybe on your phone or something.
Okay.
I sent it to you, but it's tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
So what is it?
It's a regular service, but the Ukrainian Society told me that they're going to have a remembrance for the service tomorrow. So I'm planning on showing up for that.
Yeah.
Because this, and the thing about Marxism and stuff, these people that we see show up here that went after Becky, for example, these people are, they don't even deny it. They're straight up Marxists. The leaders of their groups are straight up Marxists. They're pushing Marxism. They tell you that they're not the lightweight type socialists and stuff. They're the hardcore leftists.
Yeah, they're basically right there in communism.
Yeah, and they're wanting to plow the fields, because you can't reap without plowing the fields. And basically, what they want to do is they just want to burn it all down.
Yep.
They have no real, even when
They want to get rid of the current generation that knows this stuff. that's why they want to get a hold of your kids.
Yeah.
They burned down public housing in
They
Minneapolis.
want all the kids to
They
teach them
burned
theirs.
down on the public housing in Minneapolis, and they wanted to say that was for rich people housing. They're just propaganda people,
Yeah.
and they're all about and they primarily in Brooklyn Center, they primarily targeted minority-owned businesses. That whole strip along Humboldt there is almost all minority-owned businesses.
Remember when we went out to Fort Snelling to put up the flags?
Yeah.
And we ran into that black family,
Yeah.
and they came up to us and they said, I don't understand why they're saying
Oh, yeah.
we're dividing, why they're trying to divide us.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not divided, we're united.
Yeah.
And you
I
know,
remember that.
yeah.
And because we are both agreeing that I don't hate you and they don't hate us because we don't know each other, but we're on the same side. We had a good conversation.
We were all out there putting up flags
Yeah.
on our
Oh, yeah.
fallen soldiers.
Yeah.
Yeah, all united as one nation under God.
Yeah.
Yep. And they brought it up to us.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
They come up to
Yeah.
us and they said, I don't understand why they're trying to tell us that we're divided. We're
And
not
we
divided.
agree too, we told them back that we don't understand why they're doing this either. Because, we don't hate each other. I don't hate you, you don't hate me, but they're dividing us and why?
I'm from Brooklyn Center. Brooklyn Center has some of the highest minority populations in the entire metro, and I never run into minority people that run up and say that there's racism and stuff. The only time I see these complaining about racism and stuff are these white racists who show up there with their black face masks on, saying that just running off about racism and
Yeah,
stuff.
they're the ones just trying to whip people up.
They're straight up just trying to whip up people, and they're trying to punk people into doing all these bad behavior. And they're basically the classic racists, the classic slave drivers, the classic overseers, just like the Democrats. And I'm not even talking Democrats. I'm talking the Marxists, just like they were, back prior to the Civil War. This is the classic stuff. And they go out there and they say that they can't get driver's licenses, and they can't. They're just all the stuff that they're saying is.
We were even told that we're too stupid to know how to copy a document. We don't have access to photocopiers because we're in flyover country here.
We're rocks and cows.
Copiers here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's part of their tactics is to marginalize.
Yeah.
People marginalize means where people don't listen to you anymore. They don't believe you anymore. And like in the parents in the schools are marginalized now, where they say in the Virginia election, the guy running for governor even said that, we don't care what parents want. We're not going to teach what parents want.
Right.
We're going to teach our own.
Yeah.
Well, I even found
The
that
school
movie.
boards are like that in Roseville. It's like they don't care what the parents teach their kids or what the parents
on
want.
YouTube.
They have their own
Take turns,
Yeah.
Bruce.
Get a crap on me. He's like, no, we're not going to turn in 1984. That's just like,
Isn't that just amazing that he wrote
Holy
back
crap.
way back when?
It's prophetic.
And Animal
I
Farm
wanted
is
to-
another good one too.
I wanted to stop watching, but it's like, no, keep on watching it. Keep on watching it. It's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? This is what they want to turn the world into? It's like, no, hell no. See, this is why I do what I do every damn day. This is why I stand up for our country every day. We are not turning into 1984. Screw
Well,
that.
they're already. Look at they had all the surveillance,
Ah.
the correct speak, and they were changing words all the time like they are now, you can't use this
It's
word
just-
anymore.
And all this false accusation
It's hers.
coming against people
Yeah.
who are on our side is how to shut people up.
Yeah, they
like
want
you were
to
saying,
cancel
they-
culture.
They try to
Yeah,
fire
that's
you,
the crap
cancel
on
you,
Oh my God.
censor you, and falsely accuse you of
Like,
things
I
to
kept
make it look
watching
like you're
It's
on
like
the
the
bad
Passion of
side.
Christ. Like, no, just keep watching it. And it's how to watch it. It's really how to watch it because it's like, this is what they want to turn the world into. It's like, no. No. And this is why we do what we do. This is why we're out here every day. This is why we're,
They even had it down to the terrorist attacks. What they call them, where they'd be, bombs would come in and they hit a section of the city, and all these people would be killed, and then everybody would be all scurrying around like ants and stuff, and then pretty soon they're just going about their business again. It's just normalized. It's
It's like all these masks are being normalized, or it's normal to wear a mask. No, it's not.
And if you don't wear a
Just
mask,
do
you're
what you're told.
you're a disruptor, and you're basically a threat to society.
You're selfish for not caring about someone else's life because you won't wear a mask. It's like, I'm selfish. Who's the one that's buying all the TP and water and hand sanitizer? But I'm selfish for not wearing a mask? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Before this coronavirus, the same people were saying don't use antibiotic soap
Really?
because that's causing bad bacteria
Evolve.
to get worse.
Really?
We're going to have worse sicknesses.
Yeah, it doesn't work
But now
anymore.
you don't hear
I know
that.
that.
All you need is soap to wash the germs off of your hand. It makes it slippery. It makes them slide off. You don't need to kill the germs.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to kill them, that just
I mean-
makes them evolve and get stronger.
I don't want to name any names, but this person went on live, whatever, a couple days ago, whatever. But I agree with this person. I think the COVID came along to open up our eyes to all the corruption and what we didn't see. I mean, yeah,
Especially in the schools.
I think so. It
Did definitely help with that because parents were so busy working
They never saw this
and not
stuff.
seeing what their kids were learning in school, that when they finally had to do homeschooling and they could actually see what was going on in the classroom, it really surprised a lot of people. I think a lot of people were really taken by surprise by that. By a lot of
That's
that
the
stuff.
blessing of this time. Things are being exposed we wouldn't have seen. Now we know whose side people are on. People that were in the Trump administration, and now they're turning on him and they're joining with the communists. Now we know they're our enemies. And
Well, those were the deep state people that were never with him to start with. They were just people.
Yeah. But
Basically,
this COVID opened our eyes to all the shit that's going on there, the stuff that we,
you gotta watch Cammy's
didn't-
language.
Sorry, there's
Potty
no,
mouth, we're gonna
there's
get
no nice
ratings.
way of saying it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but this COVID came about
unless you don't use that.
I
to
swear once in a while.
wake us
I'm
up
bad
to all
too.
the shit that's going on. I don't care. I'm saying shit.
Corruption.
Not made
Corruption.
for children. Yeah.
Yeah, corruption.
Because
is a good
we
word.
didn't see it. So yeah, so this COVID, it's a good thing it came along because now we're seeing it's like, wow, that's going on. That's going on. Well, we got to do something, and now we know whose side people are on, which is really sad because it's like, that's fine if you just unite and let's get our country back. But people see it as, well, we all need to take the jab so we can get back to normal. Well, how is that getting back to normal? I mean,
It's not stopping anything.
And if you don't take the
People
jab,
are still getting sick and they're still spreading it.
well, see, and that's the thing is, people get mad because you won't take the jab because people like you are,
See,
hurting
there
it for
again, they're smarter than your
You know?
personal doctor,
Yeah,
than you are, that maybe
Well,
you study a lot
even-
of stuff about illnesses.
Even if your doctor chooses to do stuff, they're gonna try to get your doctor's license taken away.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
your doctor's not doing what they're telling your
Yep.
doctor to do.
I mean, look, we had these cheap drugs
Yeah.
that if you used them early in the COVID cases, they could have saved thousands of lives.
Chloroquine, hydroxychloroquine, and ivermectin.
Ivermectin, yep, and it's the human drug, and they've been using drugs off label for treating things like this all the time, and they work, but because the pharmaceuticals aren't making any money off of it, I swear the pharmaceuticals run everything. They have the big lobbyists, and they run everything. People have so many more chronic illnesses now than that they ever did before.
And they say America is the sickest country.
Yeah,
The one that uses
because we have the most pharmaceuticals.
by a long
being
shot,
pushed.
they said, yeah.
And also because of all this isolation, that causes we're not getting the good bacteria. You need good bacteria.
Well,
if
when you
you're
take
always
these
isolated and you're
pharmaceuticals, they
sterile-
kill the good bacteria.
If you're always isolated and kill,
Diana likes to talk about being on a farm growing up. And being on a farm growing up, that caused you to be unhealthy, right? You're basically
Man,
sickly
if I
and weak.
didn't die.
Sterilizing
Before I
all
reach
the
the age of
surfaces.
18, I'm never gonna die.
Yeah.
Sterilizing all the surfaces in your hands and your house and isolating is going to keep you from healthy bacteria that fights these bad viruses and germs.
Yeah.
Feeling the warm
so now
cowboy
you're gonna
pie
be more
squish
sick.
between your toes. Hey, that was the good old days.
At least you weren't eating the cow pies too much.
No.
That would be a little bit of a
I
sketchy
would
side.
make mud
It's a little
pies
far
as a
there.
kid. Yeah, mud pies. That was the life. Sit in the mud making mud pies.
Yeah.
We don't want to get worms and stuff, but you know, basically getting dirt and eating a little bit of dirt is not bad for you. You know, one of the really scary things nowadays is they're against the idea of you having basic nutrition. If you're in the hospital nowadays, if you get locked up for COVID, they will try to keep you from having basic nutrition. They don't want you to even have food. I've got a million people that are like that. They're locked up and they don't want to give them food. But if you start talking about vitamin C, you start talking about vitamin D3, you start talking about zinc, they're going to say that that's fake news. And if you go,
Wow.
right, they'll be all trying to put flags on your stuff because you said that. And the fact of the matter is, if you go look at the United States Department of Agricultural publication that's called the 2020 to 2025 Dietary Guidelines, it's talking about having basic nutrition. And there's all kinds of stuff you're supposed to have. That's where the MyPlate system comes from. That's where the food pyramid used to come from.
Yeah.
All that stuff is basic common sense. Has been around forever. And having just basic nutrition, getting enough water, you know, getting your vitamins and your minerals and stuff, and making sure that you're not eating too much of the bad stuff. That's just basic stuff. And talking about basic health and talking about common sense like washing your hands and stuff,
Yeah.
they're wanting to block you for saying stuff like that because you're like, you know, a denier.
That's the way that you prevented the flu for years and years. You washed your damn hands.
Yeah.
You know.
Wash your hands.
It's common sense to wash
If you
your
wear a
hands.
mask,
Cover your cloth.
that's
Stay
respectful.
home if you're
But
sick.
Your elbow, yeah.
that's not for people who are
Call in
healthy.
sick, you know, if you're not feeling good. That's, you know.
Try it one at a time. So basically the deal was always when you were sick. If you were sick, what would you do? You stay away from other people.
You'd stay home.
You stay home.
If you
And-
had to go out, you would be the one that would wear a mask.
Yeah, if you're
The-
sick.
The Japanese have done that for
Forever.
years and years. I mean, that when I was over in Japan, they would explain to me, you know, there'd be a soldier here and there that would be wearing a mask. Well, that's because they have a cold or something, and it's the polite thing to do, not to share it with your fellow soldiers. It was the sick person that would wear the mask. You wash your hands.
That's how it was in the hospital too.
Yeah.
If you went into the hospital and they thought you had meningitis or something like that, they would isolate you right off the bat. They would give you a face mask, all that stuff. And then once they figured out that you didn't have a highly contagious disease, then they started treating you normal again.
Yeah.
That's just normal. That's like the Florence Nightingale kind of stuff. This has been like that forever. You know, boiling your water before you drink it. You know, this is just basic 101. You know.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you want to open in prayer?
Oh, yeah.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the sunshine today, Lord, and we thank you for each person that came today and those watching us. And God, we invite your presence here in our lives and in this group today. And we pray you all give us strategy, wisdom, understanding, and making a difference in this country and turning the tide. We ask you to use us, Lord. Speak through us, work through us in ways that can bring change to the United States and turn us back to our original roots and our original foundation of freedom and faith and family. And Lord, we ask you bless each one of us, anoint each one of us, fill us with the Holy Spirit, put your words in our mouth, help us to be salt and light in this land, like our forefathers came to spread the light of the gospel throughout the land. Help us to be your light, your city on a hill, the light of Christ, and the salt of the earth working through us. And we pray, Lord, you'll bring down the satanic strongholds in this nation, the LGBT, the CRT, the Antifa, the BLM, the communist Marxists who hate freedom, they hate family, they hate faith in God, and pray you bring them down, expose them, and we pray that the people who are in jail illegally, or that the ones who deserve to be in jail would trade places with them, Lord, and you would turn this around and bring justice into America again. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen.
Amen.
Do we want to do a Thanksgiving, since we just had Thanksgiving?
What
Oh,
about
yeah.
Thanksgiving?
Okay.
Okay, Diana will do it.
We are grateful, O God, for all the blessings you have given to us, but most of all, for the richness of your mercy and the abundance of your love. May we who have received so much be mindful of those who have so little. As we give you thanks, help us to show our gratefulness through our care and attention of those who are broken and despised. United by your love of us and our love of you, may we come to know that we are all brothers and sisters relying on your providence and each other. Amen.
Amen.
Can I bring a little thing about the pilgrims coming?
Oh,
So,
half of them died.
Yeah? What?
I don't want to steal the story.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm just going to share a little bit of the covenant that our forefathers made with God. So when the Mayflower came over, it was the first governing document in America. It was self-governing. And the Mayflower, they wrote the Mayflower Compact. This was written by dissenters who were fleeing religious persecution from the King of England. They went to Holland first, then America. And their Mayflower Compact, the first sentence starts out, "In the name of God, amen." So there's no question who they were. They're coming with faith in God. And then in that compact, it also says, having undertaken for the glory of God and advancement of the Christian faith. And so this was why they're there, their purpose, their goals, their vision. And the charters of all 13 colonies were based upon the Bible and Christian principles. And 8 of the 13 colonies had state churches also. So just like our modern day constitution, there is no separation of church and state. It's
But
not
there-
anywhere to be found.
But there is no establishment of a religion though. So a state church a state church isn't allowed. But the government's not supposed to ban churches. That's the idea of separation. What they didn't allow was people to establish state church. So you're saying that? Do you know which of those 8 states had that?
No, I don't have the
But
details.
I think it's very interesting though that the 13 colonies would get together when 8 of them had a state church to say that they couldn't establish a religion. They just. The problem was those 8 churches were not all the same, right? They probably were buried
Each
a little
state
bit.
had their own. Yeah.
They all had their own, yeah.
I recognize you.
Was that St. Constantine? Was that
St.
the-
Constantine, yeah.
Okay.
And so they came over from.
It's a nice day today, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Looks like we got a heat wave coming.
Yeah.
well, my lake was opening up this morning. It was almost all froze over yesterday, and it's like half open again. So, pretty soon we'll be out there sunbathing and water skiing on the lake.
Right. Sure.
So our forefathers, the Pilgrims, they were dissenters from the Church of England. They objected to be a monarch was the head of the church. So the queen or the king, they were the head of the church in England.
Yeah.
And they had prison without bail if they did not obey that monarch. If the church didn't obey the monarch, prison without bail. And so, you know, they moved to Holland and then to America for freedom.
Yeah. So what kind of issues have you got today? Anything in particular that you're wanting to talk about, or?
No, I went out to run an errand, which I couldn't do because they were closed. And I remembered.
The Capitol.
No,
You went to a store.
Store?
yeah.
Yeah.
Store was
I picked up a new beater and only have one key. I want duplicate keys. I don't.
You have a car that you want to get a duplicate key for?
Yeah, and the place I go to, South Roberts,
Yeah.
It's
Closed.
closed today.
they just made it a 4-day weekend.
Really?
It's
Well,
holiday.
no, actually, according to the sign, they marked out Saturday, so I think they're doing a 5-day week anyhow. I didn't know that.
A lot of stores are closing this year that never closed before.
Yeah. But what I was remembering, didn't you guys subscribe to Neil Johnson, Lumberjack Logic?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Lumberjack Logic does sound like a good show.
Yeah, well, he's
Car Talk was something I like to watch.
he's from Twin Cities. He grew up like the rough area of North Minneapolis.
Yeah.
He's but he's Iron Country, Iron Range.
Yep.
Pretty much sort of self-sustaining. You know, he and the kids, when they went to Montana with their bows to get their elk,
Oh, yeah?
and then
Oh,
all this
bow
other
hunting,
stuff.
yeah.
They got cows, they got chickens,
Yeah.
got 7 kids, homeschool, and he's like a photographer, so he goes to all these things in the summer. There's, you know, photography on metal, all kinds of stuff. And so he's keeping up on things. But I remember he mentioned it, but I haven't gone to his local channel because like there's so much stuff and I can't do it all. But he indicated once, you know how YouTube, you gotta be careful, you can't say everything.
Right. They'll cut you
But
off.
that he had done something that involved regarding an interview that the governor had, in which he sort of let the cat out of the bag, sound like. I just wonder if anybody. But I haven't seen anything about it, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's if he did it, it's buried in the local channel, and I'd have to go look for it. But which raises the question, which my daughter sort of raised, like, what's going on in cities right now?
It's terrible. Right now, the biggest story that I see going on right now is we had a deal go on in Prior Lake, Minnesota, where this one young girl got out there on social media and started saying a bunch of racist stuff, and then it wound up catching social media, catching internet, and then the local community people, these ultra leftist Marxists, they call themselves the community,
Yeah.
targeted this girl, kid, and they went after the school, and they showed up at the school, and they were whipping up the students to go after the school and stuff, and then they showed up at the school board. Now they're thinking that's a new thing, to go after kids and they'll go through and scour people's social media and scour whatever and try to find kids who have things that they don't like, and then they show up in the schools and the school boards and are trying to target like they successfully did in Prior Lake. They were doing that in Lakeville here a couple days ago. They apparently doing it in Mankato, other schools.
So this student was actually speaking against this.
She was saying flaming racist stuff.
Oh,
She was the N-word this, and she was
Oh.
she was really.
Okay.
I'm
I'm going to make sure I got this.
There's no defending this kid, but
Okay, I
but
got
but the thing is she's just a kid, right?
Yeah.
And they're targeting this kid, and exposing her and targeting her and all that kind of stuff. and it wasn't good. But now they think that's a new thing. Now we're gonna go hunt down all of these racists in these schools, and they were talking about this just a couple days ago, and it's not even in the same school. They're going to all these schools apparently, basically looking for people that don't agree with them, or that they want to whip up angry mobs everywhere, and it's really sad.
That's part of the
Marxism. We were talking about that before you got here. How they're just trying to whip up riots.
Well, that's the sort of irrational confusion, fear game they play.
Yeah. Sad. And we were also talking about the Holodomor. If you're familiar with that at all. Earlier.
The Ukrainian
genocide.
The Bolsheviks. Ukraine was the breadbasket of Europe, of Eastern Europe, and the Bolsheviks didn't believe that the Ukrainians were providing them enough of their harvest, and so they punished them they came and they took all of their harvest. They didn't even leave them seeds to plant for the next year. They took all of their livestock. They even took like their religious relics or anything of value that they had out of the country, and they left the people there to starve. They would not let the people leave the country of Ukraine. The people of country of Ukraine had nothing to eat. They were forced to stay there and just starve to death. So that they did that.
What was the time frame of that?
There's 3 different time frames.
Get that for you here.
We were hoping somebody might be out here at the Capitol about that.
1921 to 1923 was the first, and then 1932 to 33, and then 46 to 47. So, yeah. If you ever get to see the movie, you can find it on cable TV now. Bitter Harvest. That's a real good depiction of what they did to the country of Ukraine.
They're going to have a celebration at this one St. Constantine church tomorrow at 10 o'clock, which is a Catholic church. And I'm not Catholic, but I'm planning on probably going to that.
Yeah.
And I used to go to a Catholic church when I was in Fargo, because one of my fraternity brothers was the Catholic priest at the Newman Center. His name is Father Jerry, and he is an Irish guy. He's a member of a fraternity. He would show up at our parties, and he drove a Harley, and he drank a lot. So basically, the guys liked him.
A lot of priest drink.
He was not one of those teetotaling guys, and he's Irish. He's Catholic.
Yeah, well, I know the Irish and the drinking.
And driving a Harley.
Yeah.
And he's the father, and he's the local father, and he would show up at our parties.
So the Irish and the drinking, it's probably a stereotype that has a lot of.
He didn't drink to excess. We never saw him plow drunk, stumble. He never did anything dumb. He just wasn't bashful. He'd have a beer or whatever.
I got you. Okay.
He wasn't like a lush or nothing.
You should have seen the German priests.
But the guys liked him a lot, so.
St. Constantine. Where's that at?
It's on University Avenue. I think it's about.
Yeah, it's. I got it.
514 or something like that.
I know I've driven by it.
It's northeast Minneapolis, I think.
515 University Avenue Northeast.
Jennings Kaplan.
Campbell, like the soup.
Oh,
Campbell.
okay. Would you like to be on my email list?
Don't put it on a live though. You should just, if you put it on there, you just write it down, unless you want people to hear it.
You know what? You will be the first on my new account, which I haven't been using.
But just write it down, unless you want people to hear it.
Which I hope I can.
You don't want to get it public.
Do I look like a Jenny?
Yeah, I already get enough junk mail.
What was the word?
Yeah. Next thing you know, there'll be
I don't
every.
want to start getting hate mail too.
We don't want to do
No,
that.
that happens all the time. I just give you a hard time.
Over there, where those people are standing with those weeds,
Yeah.
has one of the nicest sounds.
It's a crazy world.
Oh,
Crazy
yeah.
world, so anything like.
Basically, people,
Surprises us.
they don't understand that I like to, when I go deer hunting and stuff, I know how to find good places to take a nap. And those
Oh,
good,
yeah,
those
those-
nice warm,
Yes.
there's no wind, and it has that beautiful white sound. You know, that white noise from
Yeah.
the reeds or
Yeah.
whatever those are, and a little bit of wind will just have that rustling sound, and it's nice and warm. When you lay down, it's nice and warm, and it also keeps you pretty dry.
Yep.
It's
good bedding.
See if I can get a message from him.
Yeah, so I would just.
So when I was out deer hunting, I usually would visualize where's a good place that I would like to go,
And lay down, yep. Yep.
Take a
the deer
nap.
Find those.
and that's where the deer are.
That's where they
I
are.
hope for
Yep.
They're nice.
Yep.
Nice little beds.
Yeah, I don't want to sit in the water. No, they'll go in the water to get away from you if you're chasing them, but they're not in the water.
Yeah.
The swamp bucks and stuff, they're sitting there right next to the water in a dry spot.
Yeah, that's where you'll
I've
find
never actually given that.
Oh, I've heard of
the rabbits
that.
and
More
the
people are using this.
Yeah.
stuff like that
Yeah,
too.
they.
Don't say what it is though.
Okay.
Okay, I think I can read that. Yeah, I got it.
The first part is from my other Gmail account. Well, I'll just use the same thing.
Yeah, a lot of people use that, but apparently,
I'm not overly.
We have lots of
big on
visitors
this
walking
certain
around
thing,
today.
but I probably should be.
This is normal.
yeah, we're fine.
People are visiting the Capitol. It's a good place to visit.
Yeah, getting dogs. Yeah.
It's a beautiful day out here.
Nature of the beast. Does it get worse before it gets better?
Are the doors actually closed up there today? You can't get inside at all?
I think they are closed. Yeah. I don't know if they used.
Open on
I
Saturdays.
think they used to be open on Saturday, but nowadays they're not like that. Yeah, I think they close it up.
I know. It's,
I think you still can reserve like space in there.
The rotunda.
Yeah.
There's gonna be an event in the rotunda. That was what you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the 15th.
Like the people who say, "Oh, just wait till 2022 elections and 2024 elections, and we'll turn this country around." No,
Don't believe them. Don't believe them for a
no, we
second.
will not turn this country
that's
around
naive.
because they're just going to steal the elections unless we.
That's the biggest lie the Republicans are always putting out is that they can't do anything because they don't have enough control. They always say that. Well, we can't do this. We can't. They could be fighting. They could be doing what they can.
Yeah.
And and the thing is we've got a history of them when they actually do take coverage. It's not doing
Yeah, that's
so
the sad thing.
that's just how it is. These people who are flopping their gums saying that they can't do anything because we don't have the House and we don't have the governor's seat. When they give them the governor's seat, give them the House, and give them the Senate, they'll be like, well, we can't do anything right now because otherwise we'll lose the next election. Right? They're just rhinos big time. That's all they are. And they're just making up all these
Well,
excuses.
if they make the problem go away, then they're not needed.
That's right, yeah.
These Republicans many of them have no backbone to stand up for truth, righteousness, justice, and freedom, and our laws of the land and the Constitution. No backbone. They get a little opposition and they just
Well,
don't.
the
Yeah.
problem has to
Yeah, you wanna take a
exist so
picture?
that there's a reason for them to exist, because supposedly they're fighting that problem. So they can't make the problem go away because then their job goes away.
So, like, in my state senator area district, we had two people running. John Marty, who's far left winger, who's now state senator, and then we had another guy running at one time who was for homosexual marriage. I go, I'm not voting for either one. I'm not voting for Republican just because they say they actually have to follow through on it and stand for
Well,
values of
I think that's just one. Labels don't mean anything they used to mean. it's like they become useless. And I
Cammy evaporated.
She went to the restroom.
Where's that?
this whole
What part of a walk is that?
organization of
About
males.
a block and 2 blocks.
McDonald's?
That's several
It's just-
blocks.
Blocks that way. It's just on the other side of Sears.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's a little ways though.
I think that's a bit of a.
It's not a short walk, but it's not that far.
What to war?
To McDonald's to go
By
to
the
the
time she
restroom.
comes back, I'll be
Oh.
gone.
Wow. I think McDonald's is.
No, it's right there. At the
It's
corner.
just on the other side of
It's
Sears.
just Rice and
Yeah, I've been there.
Rice and Marion.
Yeah, it's close.
It's not the one on University, but
It's on University.
The one they
It's just on the other side of
remodeled and
Sears.
screwed it all up inside.
oh,
I actually been in there once.
I thought that was fairly nice before they remodeled it.
Well, now they dropped the ceiling, but it's like there's just this small area
I haven't been
and
inside.
only one per station and one person to take orders. It's like they don't want any, it's like all the mixture of people who would come and go from there. Or
Yeah,
African
they're
American,
definitely
whatever.
controlling the
Yeah.
It's like
traffic.
they're like
They don't want them.
sort of, move to the drive-through, and I was
Sad.
sure it's all clean and fresh and all that, but it's like what are they doing with all
Oh,
this
there's a
space?
nice dog. Look at that. That's a nice one. Oh, look at that guy. He's got a big old tail wagging. Yeah, that's a nice one.
That's all
So
right.
how old is this one?
6.
6 years old? Yeah, he's got a really good motor going there. Look at that. Yeah, you could power a whole city with that tail. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see ya.
Looks like a hunting dog.
Oh, I don't know what kind of dog. It's a nice dog though. The tail just keeps going. Yep, it just keeps going. Yep.
That keeps them warm.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, friendly dog.
Shake a leg.
Yeah. I think there's a closer bathroom than
Where?
the Holiday Station's over there, not too far.
You want to go on a holiday station?
At least the McDonald's. they don't
McDonald's
block
is better.
Bathrooms.
She didn't drive, did she?
No, she walked.
She walked. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll take her a little while.
Well, speaking of stores closed, I went to Lund's Byerly's yesterday and that was closed. The day after Thanksgiving, I was never
Yeah.
seen that before.
So we're probably going to go over to the Capitol pretty soon, but we have to wait for Cammy. So
This is the county.
I mean the governor's mansion.
Oh, the guy.
Or we probably don't want to be outside for 5 hours.